I would like to acknowledge and pay respect to the Gumbaynggirr people, past, present, and future, and recognise their continuing connection to the land, water, and community. I live in Nambucca Heads. It's a town located on the mid-north coast of New South Wales. Although fairly small, it is the past and present home of the Gumbaynggirr people. Having only lived in this town for a short period, I was interested to see how the community valued and acknowledged Indigenous Australian culture, country, and people. So I decided to take a wander through the main street and around the local areas. As I walked into the town, there were signs of acknowledgement of the Gumbaynggirr people. The local primary school has signs up at each entrance welcoming students in English and also in Gumbaynggirr language. Whilst walking, I noticed a large Indigenous mural that has been painted out the front of the school by a local Indigenous artist. It is titled Where the Land Meets the Sea and is an illustration of Nambucca Heads, the town that meets the sea. From the outside, it appears that the primary school has a strong connection to the Gumbaynggirr people. As I came into the main street of Nambucca Heads, various local Indigenous artists have painted poles along the street. While I reflect on my walk around my local community, I can't help but feel that although Nambucca Heads seems to value and acknowledge Gumbaynggirr people by having local Indigenous artists paint murals and poles, there is a complete lack of acknowledgement of culture and country. The absence of acknowledgement of the Gumbaynggirr culture and country emphasises that the diversity of Indigenous Australians is not considered to be important and continues the cycle of marginalisation. This isn't just an issue in Nambucca Heads. While growing up on the Gold Coast, there was nothing in my school education or in the community acknowledging Indigenous culture, country or people. I feel extremely ashamed, devastated and mortified that during the mid-2000s there was absolutely no acknowledgement of Indigenous Australians. There was no acknowledgement of country, just nothing. We were taught the whitewashed version of colonisation and how Australia was known as terra nullius. This seems unimaginable as we now know and acknowledge that Australia was invaded and many Indigenous peoples were slaughtered. Perhaps it may be inherent racism and white privilege or simply ignorance and lack of education. This lack of acknowledgement of our Indigenous peoples and their traditional ownership of the land we inhabit is a societal norm, not only in this small community but Australia-wide. The town of Nambucca Heads, where the land meets the sea, is the traditional home of the Gumbaynggirr people. Although there are still a relatively large number of Gumbaynggirr people living in the town, there is still a lack of recognition of their history and culture. With further education, we can begin to reconcile our cultures and bring respect to the traditional owners of our land, past, present and future.